Hey, this is Jim. It's 9:32 a.m. in San Francisco, California on May the 22nd. Please note that all discussions, analysis, and information presented are for general informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or any other form of professional advice. So everything looks great today so far, and we're seeing a pickup in volume. I'm going to show you that in a second here. But I wanted to start with the 240-minute price bar chart, and just reiterate what this zone of strength looks like and the fact that it extends into the first week or two of June. So we had two different probes, higher highs here into this zone of strength. Still haven't hit sort of the minimum price target at the bottom of this price box here. But the fact that we moved in, had a re-entry on the secondary expanding megaphone melt-up fractal here and then rejected down in a second one tells us that price wants to track higher into the zone of strength. So far so good. Higher high, higher high, higher low. So everything looks good here. And again, 745 vibration should be a little sticky and create some flop once we re-enter. And then the real acceleration to the upside that I think will probably end up coming coincident with 15 million shares per 60-minute bar for 3 consecutive bars. That's what we consider ignition volume. I would imagine that if we're going to re-enter this primary speed line, meaning this thick yellow uptrend line, which would then, based on everything I've ever studied, want to launch price up toward this speed line and hit these targets we're looking at here. If this is going to happen, I would be willing to bet we'll need to see 3 consecutive 60-minute bar green closes of 15 million shares or greater. And then again, that would coincide with a break above this high, put in this sort of nice bottoming structure just based on technical analysis 101 and provide some of the horsepower we need to move to the upside. I'll show you guys what this looks like today so far. And then we'll finish with volume. So here's what things look like. We price moved above this 508 Anemoi hourly trigger, sort of came back down and then broke higher. We have expanding positive velocity at the hourly level. So hourly velocity is increasing to the upside, which is exactly what we want to see. Our next challenge here is the 526 Anemoi daily trigger, but you can see that we have these retest levels that are sitting just on the upside of these important triggers. Tells us that if we can just bring a little bit of volume in here, that these should slingshot right through. These should be high velocity events, and on these trigger breaks, so price above 526 should be able to accelerate toward this 545 retest, hidden retest level, and then of course usually get vibration, and then we can slingshot above the 566 weekly trigger on our way to retest this hidden retest at 580, and again some vibration there. Then we've got that pay me later level 687. We've got this hidden retest at 795, and then that really important monthly trigger for the rest of the month of May at 803. That monthly trigger will decline when we flip into June. So again, like I said in the last video, what would be ideal would be for us to track the BAM zone of strength and obviously to move up toward that 803 or even through it into month end. So then even if 803 becomes sticky, let's say we shoot straight through 803 prior to the end of the month and then slam back down, anything at 803 or higher is going to repair a monthly velocity moving into June, and then that's going to start to release this pull to the downside and allow us to hit some of those upside targets, the more aggressive upside targets that I keep showing you guys in this 240-minute chart. So again, the more price progress we can make to the upside into month end, which then prints the close at the end of May and calculates all of our triggers and velocity for the month of June. The more progress we can make, the better. And then as we make more progress, if we make more progress into the end of May, that will release velocity and allow it to then hit any or all of these other numbers during the month of June, even early June. Here's what the, I'm sorry, here's what the closest retest level looks like here. I'm sorry, here's what the 580 hidden retest level looks like. You guys can see the price structure if you want to do this on your own chart. It's basically just this low right here, which was the 424 low, and this pullback low on 5.2. And again, we have an up, down, higher, high up, which means this is a valid uptrend line. And then we had this very, very little bull versus bear battleground take place on that trend break. That doesn't cut it. You guys know that you need to look at the amount of time that this structure took to unfold. And then you want about a third of the bull versus bear battleground to take place on the retest and vibration level. If that doesn't happen, we count that as an active hidden retest as opposed to a vibration level, and that gives us a bogey here today or at some point this week. I'll finish with volume because this is really important and this is a little more complicated. There are two different things going on here. The first thing that I'll reiterate and show you guys again, or people who are joining for the first time during this setup, is the reason I said there was a quiet before the storm setup. Now, the reason I said that is because on the 18th at 11:30 a.m. PST West Coast time, we printed a 506,762 share 60-minute bar, and that's very low hourly volume for this particular stock. Everything has its own personality, every individual ticker. So you need to study the individual ticker to figure out what is low and versus high relative to that personality of that stock. So again, as soon as we flag that 506,762 share 60-minute bar, I wanted to go back and see another point in over the past year when volume around that same level had been seen. And it turned out that although the volume was not as low as at 508, we did have a 580,143 share volume bar, 60-minute bar at 11:30 a.m. on January the 10th. What happened after that was on the 11th, we had a gap up. Painted a really nice green volume bar, and the stock had a 65% rally over the next 6 sessions. So this caught my attention, and I brought it up to you guys. What happened the following day, options expiration on the 19th, was that we posted a 593,408 share bar, and then a 530,031 60-minute bar. So again, it's this even more intense quiet before the storm. And what we wanted to see then is we wanted to, at some point today, and typically happens in the first hour of trading, is we wanted to paint through this 2.3 million share red bar, which we did. So we had a 2.9 million green bar first 60 minutes of trading today, 2.9 million shares. So that paints through the 2.3. It engulfs that volume. So we had a red volume bar. We wanted to paint a green volume bar, engulf that volume, and kick off this new uptrend. So far, everything looks good. You guys can see another one of these wedging patterns that we're forming here. The real breakout volume from this particular wedging pattern would come on the 23rd and the 24th. We've been having volume breakouts about 6 hours early as far as when we compare it to the bogey, the intersection of the downtrend and the nesting or resting volume. So right here, sort of late session 523 is where you would get a volume breakout if this thing was really, really stubborn. We've been starting 5-6 hours before that apex. So, you know, mid-session tomorrow to early session tomorrow, we can be off and running. What we're looking for now is any green volume bar that's 2.3 million shares or greater. That means we're verifying, confirming this small degree uptrend. Then if we can get a 10 million share, 60-minute green bar, then I'm saying sharply higher, trending sharply higher, meaning the trajectory should change. So you can drift in this trajectory on this relatively low volume as long as we continue to print green closing bars on the rising volume. But then once you start to kick up to somewhere around this 10 million share per 60-minute bar, then you should see the trajectory steepen and change like this. Then again, if we can at some point over the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, run 3 consecutive 60-minute green closing bars at 15 million shares or greater, this would be considered ignition and melt up volume. This would be similar to May, June of 2021. And then we'd be really off and running and be talking more in terms of this 21, 25 retest level or above. That's it from my side, you guys. Good luck.